Hello, everybody. My name is Christina Lee Johnson, and I am the creator of the Bubblina comic book series. And at the moment, it's rebooted. My Bubblina series has been rebooted as a novel. So the reason I am here because I'm filling in for Gabe on this one, just to read Bubblina issue number. Well, actually, Heroes of Dreams issue number 4. A discovery within the bubbles. Look like I see one person in right now. So I'll just give them a few minutes for them to just come in. So what I was about to say is if you like what you see, please subscribe to our Miracle Universe channel on YouTube, as well as supporting us on Patreon. So far we still have our loyal Patreon pledgers, EJ the Supreme, Big Sis Casey, and Iceman Universe. And also feel free to follow me on my social media pages on Facebook under Christina Lee Johnson, as well as my Instagram page under Christina Lee Johnson. So how's everybody's day going? Well, my day is good despite the heat, but I am cooling off right now. Let me take a sip of water. It would have been nice if the weather was cooler, but according to the weather on my app, it might rain next week. So with this rain, it might possibly cool down a little. Oh, okay. I see Miracle Productions, which is my husband King Gabe, and he say, "Good. I'm monitoring the chat while I'm eating." So he had a long day at work. So after he got off, he decided to just give him something to eat and rest, which is understandable since it's been a long day, and we all need a break. We all need a break at times from work and mainly everyday life in general, depending on what it is. So, look like 3 minutes has passed, so I'm just gonna start reading. Heroes of Dreams, Volume 4, A Discovery Within the Bubbles. Before I read this, I'm just gonna read this small summary right quick. A legendary and gorgeous discovery in the lake is found by our heroes, Star Striker and Target. However, it is up to them to keep this discovery from falling into the wrong hands. In order to do this, they might need some help from a new friend. Question is, will she help them? Find out within the bubbles and continue the adventure with Volume 5, The Mysterious Miracles of Salvation. And you see in the cover, you get Bubblina as well as an autograph by yours truly. I don't know if anyone can see this. I could read it to y'all. It stated, "My gorgeous Queen Tina, from your handsome King Gabe. I love you." That's sweet. Very sweet. That will be cherished forever. And then you have proof and edited by my mother-in-law, Diane Douglas Taylor. And I also did a proofreading as well by yours truly, me. And we also did the artwork together in this book. Inspiration and artwork by King Gabe and Queen Tina. Okay, now let's begin. Chapter 1, Left Out. Down at Cross Lake in the Oil City area, the fall festival celebration had begun that night. Many families gathered there, including Samuel, Brian, and their parents, along with Julie as well. However, she didn't feel like celebrating much because the fact of seeing the families there having a good time with each other made her feel left out. As the festival continued, Bryant noticed Julie sitting by herself at an empty picnic table with her head down on the table and walked over to her. "What's wrong, Julie?" asked Brian. "Nothing," said Julie. She didn't even look up. "Come on, Julie," said Brian again. "You wouldn't have your head down like that if you didn't have a problem." Julie looked up and sighed deeply. Then she said, "Just go back to your family, Brian, and don't worry about me, okay?" "But Julie, I just..." Brian started to move closer to Julie, but she formed a clear barrier around her to stop him. Then she got up and walked off into the woods further down by the lake away from the festival. Brian pondered a minute until he noticed Samuel behind him. And you see in the picture right here, Julie just want to be left alone because she doesn't have no one closer to her because of what happened in the previous issue that she lost her family. And Brian did her best to just cheer her up. But all Julie wants is to just be left alone. "What's up with you guys?" Samuel asked. "I'm not sure," said Brian. "Probably it's just a weird girl thing," said Samuel. "They can be really strange at times." "I guess so," said Brian. Meanwhile, Julie arrived at the deserted end of the lake and noticed a girl in the lake with binoculars looking at the festival fruiting. She had gorgeous pink hair and aqua green eyes. Her attire was an aqua green princess gown with diamond decorations, goldenrod seashells, matching gloves, a goldenrod tiara, a diamond necklace with a bee on it, and a diamond bracelet. Julie looked at her for a moment and said, before realizing it, spoke out loud, saying, "I guess she's alone too without a family." The girl heard Julie, but didn't understand what she said. She looked over at Julie and asked, "What did you say?" Julie jumped and quickly said, "Nothing, nothing at all." "How come you're not at the festival with your family?" asked the girl. "I could ask you the same thing," said Julie. "Oh well, I sort of snuck out here to see this festival for a few minutes." "At least you have parents." "Don't you?" Julie turned her back to the girl and tried not to cry. Then she said, "I don't want to talk about it." "I see," said the girl. Then she swam closer to the shore behind Julie and said, "I'm Bubblina, by the way, but my friends call me Bubbles for short. What's your name?" Julie sighed and said, "Julie."
a sweet name,"
said Bubblina in an extra cheery voice.
"it is short for Juliet, like in the tale of Romeo and Juliet."
Look, I. Bubblina continued ranting.
"Perhaps you're looking for your sweet Romeo,
I just.
a brave, charming prince to whom you want to be swept into his arms.
I just want to.
I could help find this prince of yours. Perhaps he's somewhere within that festival."
Julie just sighed as Bubblina kept ranting. However, the girls did not realize they were being watched by a shark-like robot. And you see Bubbly is trying to cheer Julie up. And she still not doesn't feel like being cheered up anymore. Chapter 2, Shark Attacking Clearance. Meanwhile, back at the fall festival celebration, lots of partying continued, and eventually everyone stopped to grab some food. Then, just as everyone started eating, a whole army of shark-like robots attacked and thrashed the festival like crazy. And you see an array of sharks in different colors attacking. They are some mean, vicious sharks over there. Yes, mean, vicious sharks. Lee and Derek took out bullhorns and called for everyone to follow them to safety. Samuel and Brian went behind a nearby bush to activate their battle suits. Oh, look like I see hearts on the chat at the moment. Hello, EJS. It's nice to see you. EJS is in the house. Oh yeah. Let me type a message for him right quick. Great to have you. Seeing me read Heroes of Dreams. Issue number 4. Read by me. It's great having you in the live, EJS. What you missed was I read chapter 1 of the Heroes of Dream, issue number 4, Discovery Within the Bubbles. You could always catch up with me on the replay. Right now, I'm currently reading chapter 2 that is titled Shark Attacking Clearance. Okay, let me continue. Okay, as I was saying, Lee and Derek took out bullhorns and called for everyone to follow them to safety. Samuel and Brian went behind a nearby bush to activate their battle suits. Star transform, started Samuel. Hold it, interrupted Brian. We have to find Julie first. True, but it's best if we change first in case those sharks get in our way, said Samuel. Good point, said Brian. Star transformation activate, said Samuel. Target transformation activate, said Brian. However, their watches didn't open, and instead, a computer in them say, system error, system error. You see, Samuel and Brian try to transform with their activation watches, but they couldn't because because it has a system error. What the heck? Exclaimed the boys. They keep on trying again and again to activate their battle suits, but the computer kept saying the same thing. Meanwhile, where Julie and Bubblina were at, Bubblina was still ranting, causing Julie to fall asleep. Eventually, Bubblina noticed Julie sleeping and smiled.
Juliet found Juliet is sound asleep, dreaming of her sweet Prince Charming Romeo to meet her at the shore,
said Bubblina. Then the sharp robot that had been watching the girls jumped out at Bubblina from behind as she ranted on. Julie woke up, saw the shark robot, teleported Bubblina onto the shore beside her, and quickly teleported a large nearby sand rock in the spot where Bubblina was before being teleported. The shark robot went for the sand rock, and the sand blurred its vision a little. It quickly went into the water to wash the sand off. Bubblina noticed she wasn't in the water and looked around asking,
how did I end up here all of a sudden?
Julie looked at Bubblina and was shocked at her discovery. She noticed Bubblina had a mermaid tail that has turquoise scales. Just then, Samuel and Brian arrived being chased by an army of shark robots. Julie, help us! The boys exclaimed. Julie snapped to attention quickly, but at that same moment, the shark robot that tried to attack Bubblina sprung from the water and spat out electric eels at Julie. The eels shocked Julie once they hit her, causing her to become unconscious. Bubblina knows what was going on and decided to take action. And you can see in this picture, you see Bubblina went from mermaid to human. And you can see she also have her bubble wand. It's getting good so far. First, she changed her mermaid tail into human legs and feet. Then she stood up, making her pink bubble trident appear, and used his magic to change her dress into an aqua green tank top and a skirt with a matching belt. She also had aqua green boots with bubble decorations. Her gloves, which also had bubble decorations, changed into aqua green too, along with a bubble necklace and a tiara. And you can see these are pictures describing her transformation. You can see her hands and arms. Then you can see her feet as well as her chest. And then her face. After her magical transformation, she took a heroic stance and said,
Bubblina, Princess Hero of Atlantis to the rescue!
and you can see Bubblina her cheery self in that cheery stance. Bubbleina then raced to aid the boys and used her pink bubble trident like a staff to fight off shark robots. Samuel and Brian look at Bubbleina in action and watch in amazement. Wow, she's beautiful.
Take that!
Wham! That's what it said in the captions in this picture. And they were amazed at what she do. Kick the shark's butt. And she did it with a smile. Who is that girl? They asked.
I am Princess Bubblina of Atlantis, and I am here to rescue you guys from these menacing sharks.
Answered Bubblina, still battling shark robots.
Oh, look who came in the chat. Janera.
Hey, Janera. You didn't miss too much. Right now, I'm currently reading chapter 2 that is titled Shark Attack and Clearance. And previously, chapter 1 that's titled Left Out. If you missed what you saw, feel free to watch the replay after after my live is over. Anytime you want to. Okay. It's nice meeting you, Janera. Let me type back at you right quick. Hold on a second. I'm typing you back right quick. Hold on. Okay, got my phone on. Okay. Nice to see you. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. Well, that's my YouTube username title, Pasadena Cat Pink. Okay. Now, as I read, who is that girl, they asked.
I am Princess Bubblina of Atlantis, and I'm here to rescue you guys from these menacing sharks.
Answered Bubblina, still battling the shark robots. Hey, princess, said the boys dreamily. No wonder she's so pretty, said Brian. I'll say, agreed Samuel. Further into battle, Bubblina found it harder to fend out the shark robot. To fend off the robot sharks.
Time for a little aquatic bubble magic,
she said. Then she'd aim at her trident at the robot sharks. But nothing happened.
What? Why isn't anything?
Before she could finish, the robot sharks charged at her with their mouths open wide. Just when it seemed like it was all over for her, a roar of like rays sprouted up and destroying the robot sharks. Samuel and Brian gasped in amazement and said, How did you do that? Bubblina jumped and said,
I have to go.
Then she quickly jumped into the lake and swam away quickly. Okay, that was weird, said Samuel. She saves the day and freaks out, said Brian. What's up with that? Samuel shrugged his shoulders and said, Like I said before, it's probably just a weird girl thing. They can be really strange at times. I'll have to take your word again, said Brian. Come on, let's make sure Julie's okay, and then we can figure out what's up with our watches. Oh, Janara say, want to show up. Want to show up where? Hmm. Okay. Oh. Chapter 3, Silly Willy Nilly. Okay, Janara say, want to show up to the chat to hear you read? Okay. The best part, well, you're just in time to hear me read. Okay. So how you like it so far, Janara? I know it's getting pretty interesting. It'll be more interesting when I read chapter 3. Chapter 3 is titled Silly Willy Nilly. OMG, I love your reading. Oh, why thank you, Janara. Okay. Okay. Look like I have a fan who likes my reading. Okay. I'll give her a thumbs up. There. Chapter 3, Silly Willy Nilly. Meanwhile, in a house near the neighborhood at Cross Lake, there was an 8-year-old boy named Wilson Nelson. His nickname was Willie, but the kids that teased him called him Silly Willy Nilly. The reason he was called was that because he constantly stayed on the verge of proving the existence of legendary and mythical beings and creatures like mermaids, fairies, witches, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and so much more. Who's next, Godzilla? Well, actually, Godzilla is an ad lib. Since it wasn't typed in the books, I just added Godzilla. Well, he might have thought of Godzilla in his mind. Like Brian, Willie was also a kid genius. He had taken a lot of things from his dad's marine biology lab in order to build the shark robots that attacked Cattle Lake. He had seen Bubbly swimming around there a year ago and decided to build the shark robots in order to capture her for proof to the kids who made fun of him. The robots had cameras in them that allowed Willie to see the action on his laptop computer that took place during the attack, which included Julie's interference. That girl messed up my plan to capture that mermaid, exclaimed Willie angrily. Then he started to pace the floor back and forth and continue ranting. If it hadn't been for her showing up and noticing my shark robot sneaking up behind her, that mermaid wouldn't be here to show for me to show everyone. I don't know exactly how she did it, but somehow she managed to disrupt the tracking system. Probably a smart genius, know-it-all girl. Then Willie kicked his chair hard, knocking it over. However, the impact hurt his foot, causing him to hop in pain. Look, everyone, it's the Silly Willy Nilly Dancy Show, said a voice from outside. The voice came from one of the kids that always teased Willie. Along with a group of kids, he was laughing as he watched Willie through the window, hopping around in his room. Willie heard the kids laughing outside and hopped over to close the curtains on the window. Uh-oh, it's curtains for the show, another kid say as they continue laughing. Take it back to Philly up here, Hilly, in a willy-dilly milly. Willie sat down on the bed and fought until an idea popped into his head. He said quietly to himself, what if that girl was some sort of magical creature in disguise like a fairy? Then Willie shouted out loud, yes, yes, a fairy, yes. Hey, Willie, you crying for your fairy godmother in there? Asked one of the kids outside the window sarcastically. Willie tried to ignore them and thought more to himself. That would explain how she mysteriously protected that mermaid somehow. Then he went to his laptop and searched the internet about fairies and read information about their weaknesses. According to these files, a fairy's weakness is iron. They're never going near it. Willie chuckled in a sinister way and said, that should be easy to get from my dad's lab. Once I rebuild the shark robots with that iron, that fairy will stay out of my way. However, if she tries to fight them in her weak point, I'll equip them with the poison venom from the banded sea crabs in the lab. Then the mermaid will be mine, along with the fairy. Then Willie laughed evilly until his mom called for him.
Little Willie, your teeny weeny doggies are done,
she said. The kids outside laughed harder and Willie shouted back angrily, Mom, you're embarrassing me. And you see, Willie is mad, so mad that the kids made fun of him. Even though he's trying to think of even though he's thinking of an evil plan right now to prove that mermaids and fairies are real. And looks like he's obsessed with mermaids and fairies as well as other mythical creatures. Would have been cool if he had a poster of King Kong and Godzilla. Chapter 4, Bubblina's Dream. Bubblina quickly swam deep into Cattle Lake. Then she took out a special Atlantean key to open the portal back to Atlantis. Once she entered and started swimming through it, she quickly changed to her superhero outfit into her princess dress from earlier and her legs back into a mermaid tail again. Bubblina also made her trident vanish. Then she continued to pass through the portal which led to her underwater kingdom known as Atlantis, her home. And in this picture, this is what Bubblina's castle looked like. All with a light blue as well as a dark blue. Bubblina rushed faster to the castle where a surprise birthday party was about to start. The birthday party was for her father, Aquarius, king of Atlantis. Once Bubblina got inside the castle, she tried to sneak up her room to act like she had been there the whole time. But she bumped into her mother, Oshira, the queen of Atlantis.
Hey, Mom,
said Bubblina nervously. Bubblina, where have you been? Asked Oshira. Your father could have shown up and the party would have been ruined.
Well,
started Bubblina nervously. And you can see Bubblina got busted by her mom. Uh-oh. How'd she get out of this one?
Your Highness, please forgive my interruption,
said a mermaid approaching Oshira and then bowing. Her name was Nogana and she was Bubblina's personal security guard. What is it, Organa? Said Oshira. I took the princess to see some friends of hers, and I forgot to remind her about the party, said Organa. Otherwise, she would have arrived here earlier. Fine, just be more responsible next time, both of you, said Oshira. I understand, Your Highness, said Organa. If it's okay, I would like to speak with the princess in private for a moment to discuss that with her. Make it fast. The king could be here any minute now. Yes, my queen. With that, Bubbling and Organa went upstairs to Bubblina's room,
That was a close one.
said Bubblina. It won't be long for princess, said Organa. Now, do you see why it's better for you to wait until you're a designated age to start training and developing your powers? You're not old enough to control them completely.
Well, according to my father, I will never be old enough.
Said Bubblina.
That's why I want to train myself and live my dream not only as a future queen, but also as a superhero, just like the mighty deep sea man.
And you could see Bubblina's favorite hero, Deep Sea Man. And that's before I took over the Bubblina series and made Deep Sea Man into Deep Sea Girl. Bubblina grabbed a deep sea comic from under her bed and gazed through it dreamily. Then she imagined herself fighting side by side with Deep Sea Man. As she imagined, it, she said to herself aloud,
Just think when I master my powers and the mighty deep sea man sees me, he'll be so impressed that he wants me at his side. Then we might get married, which would make him the new king of Atlantis.
Norgana sighed and shook her head as Bubblina held the comic so lovingly. Chapter 5, Questions and Answers. Meanwhile, Lee, Lisa, Derek, Deborah, and Kurt were inside the control room of a BTB agency trailer that teleported there nearby the lake, trying to figure out why the watches wouldn't work earlier. Julie had just recovered from the electric shocks she encountered earlier, but she still had a bit of a headache when she woke up. Sammy and Brian were in the room with her. How are you feeling, Julie? Asked Brian. Like I got a killer headache, Julie answered. Well, it didn't seem like a killer ending with those sharks, said Samuel and laughed. Get it? Killer ending? Julie got ticked at the joke and used her psychic powers to make Samuel's pants fall down. Samuel stopped laughing and quickly pulled his pants up, and Brian laughed. I'm not in a humorous mood, said Julie. I'd comment on that, but I don't want to lose my pants, said Brian. Then he stopped laughing and asked Julie, So, did you see anything unusual before Samuel and I arrived with a whole bunch of shark robots on our tails? You wouldn't believe me if I told you, said Julie. Not quite sure if I believe in myself. Considering the fact we're in a room with a psychic samurai, said Samuel, what could possibly be stranger than that? How about a mermaid on the shore? Said Julie. A mermaid, said Samuel and Brian together. See what I mean? Said Julie. Unbelievable. Wait a minute, said Brian. He pondered a bit and stated. Remember that girl named Bubblina who saved us? Samuel blushed a bit and said, How could I forget a face that pretty? Samuel started blankly in a romantic daze thinking about her until Julie made his pants fall down again to snap him out of it. Brian laughed again as Samuel quickly pulled him up and said to Julie, "What did I do this time?" And in the picture you see Samuel still fantasizing about Bubbleina, and then Julie interrupted his fantasy and pulled his pants down with her psychic powers. And Brian laughed. You are about you are about to make me puke right now and get a bigger headache afterwards, say Julie. Typical boys, just typical. I know another way to give you a headache, Girl, said Samuel. Try it, Starboy, said Julie. Brian quickly got between Samuel and Julie to calm them down and say, "As I was saying, guys, that girl Bubbleina is a mermaid." "How did you figure that?" asked Samuel. "Well, she mentioned that she was the princess of Atlantis, which according to mythology is an underwater city," said Brian. "She also had a triune like Poseidon, the mythical Roman god of the ocean." "Guess you had a point. Guess you got a point there," said Samuel. "But what about the error with our watches and why couldn't we transform? Why we couldn't transform? And don't forget the shark robots that attacked me," said Julie. "Samuel, Brian, and Julie, report to the control room now," said Lee over the intercom. Samuel, Brian, and Julie went to the control room where Lee, Derek, Lisa, Deborah, and Kurt were. We, we were able to fix the problem with the watches and should take a few minutes before they can be fully functional, said Kurt. "We were able to pick up a piece of circuitry from one of those shark robots," said Lee. "Turns out they have an ability to shut down a highly advanced communication signals," said Derek, "which is why the base didn't receive the signal from your watches to activate your transformation." "So who built these in the first place?" asked Brian. "We were waiting for the answer now on our computer," said Lisa. Just then the computer flashed an image of a guy named Wallace Nelson. Deborah recognized him, she said. "I know him. He was my marine biology professor at Galvin University." "But what would a marine biology professor need those shark robots for?" asked Lisa. "Perhaps an investigation will solve our problem," said Lee. "Then let's go find the answers, team!" exclaimed Samuel to Brian and Julie. And you see, all three of them had a meeting with Derek, and Derek, and Kurt. And then you also see Lisa and Deborah looking at the monitors at Wallace Nelson. And here's another close look at them. Okay. Chapter 6, The Jaws of Capture. Meanwhile, back at Atlantis, King Aquarius entered his castle. As soon as he entered, the lights came on and everyone shouted, "Surprise! Happy birthday, King Aquarius! King Aquarius!" Aquarius smiled and chuckled, saying, "Thank you, everyone." Then the party started much like the fall festival from earlier. Suddenly, a couple of shark robots busted inside the castle and started wrecking the place, causing everyone to panic. Aquarius Centurion soldiers went to fight the shark robots, but more came in and overpowered them. "Stand back, everyone," said Aquarius, "while I deal with these beasts." Aquarius swam into action. And here, this is King Aquarius. Almost remind me of King Triton a little bit, but a little bit younger. Are those the shark robots? Are those the shark battles from earlier on the surface world? Norgana asked Bubblina softly.
I believe so.
Said Bubblina.
But how could they be here without an Atlantean king?
Bubblina paused for a moment to think. Then she gasped and said,
Unless I must have forgotten to close the portal back.
Then we better hurry and close it up before things completely overthrow Atlantis, said Norgana. Then, without noticing, Bubblina and Norgana went into Bubblina's room and exited out of the window where the open portal was. Once they got there, they noticed a giant submarine-sized shark robot stuck in the portal trying to get in,
I don't think I've seen this one earlier.
said Bubblina. Must be the boss shark, said Norgana. Don't worry, princess, I'll blast him back. Norgana made her trident appear and fired the biggest aurora ray she could, which started to shove the shark back in the portal. Suddenly, Bubblina noticed an incoming regular-sized shark robot charging toward them, and quickly shoved Norgana out of the way. However, Bubblina barely dodged the shark and ended up stinging her with his left razor sharp fin. Are you all right? Asked Norgana.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Said Bubblina. Suddenly, the giant shark robot fired the net around Bubblina and took off with her neck back through the portal. Norgana started to follow it, but all the other shark robots charged by her, releasing poison banded sea crate's venom, which caused her to black out as they followed the giant shark. And in this picture, you see Bubblina being captured by one of the shark robots, and she's swimming for her dear life in a panic. Meanwhile, back in Oil City, Lee, Derek, Lisa, Deborah, and Kurt investigated the Nelson laboratory for clues on the shark robots. However, Star, Target, and Sword Girl went to Cross Lake to investigate the scene of the cry flying across the lake. Eventually, Sword Girl was struck by some shark robots, releasing poison, banded sea crates venom, causing her to become unconscious and fall into the mouth of a giant robot shark coming out of the lake. Star started to fire his star laser and target with his target boomers at the giant shark, but they were hit with knockout gas. Chapter 7, Bubblina's Heroic Rescue. Bubblina awoke and realized she was trapped inside of a tank of water in a lavatory, but it wasn't a Nelson lavatory. She looked to her right and gasped when she saw Star, Target, and Sword Girl unconscious and chained in the cages that were guarded by the shark robots. Then, Willie teleported inside and approached Bubblina. And you can see Willie Nelson finally captured Bubblina and put her in a tank. Comfy? Asked Willie.
Not really.
Responded Bubblina.
But I see you're the one who's responsible for those sharks that attack at the lake. Who are you? What is the reason for those sharks? Why do you have me in this tank and those hero kids over there in cages?
Well, my little mermaid friend, started Willie. My name is William Nelson, also known as Willie, or Silly Willy Nilly to those annoying kids who make fun of me.
And you think this will solve your problem?
Asked Bubblina. Actually, it will, said Willie. You see, since the time I was real little, I believed that there were magical creatures like fairies, mermaids, and stuff like that. Then I saw you a year ago and decided to capture you for proof with those shark robots. Bubblina paused and said,
I see. So, after you get your evidence, then what?
Willie thought for a moment and said, maybe then I could get awards for my dad's science colleagues and become famous and start a collection of magical creatures. Maybe, just maybe, even enough to become a magical ruler of the world. Ha 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 ha. Willie imagined the possibilities while laughing. Bubblina then thought to herself,
If he does that, he misuse of my people and other magical beings could bring danger to the entire world. If I only had more skill in using my trident and magic, then I could free those hero kids and myself.
Bubblina sighed in despair, but suddenly a thought hit her. She smiled and a sneaky grin and thought,
Maybe there's another reason he spent a year trying to catch me. There's only one way to find out.
then Bubblina got Willie's attention. Then he stopped laughing and looked at her. She said to him in a sweet voice with a flirty look while blushing,
Willie, perhaps I could give you something better than proving your point of my people's existence.
Oh, really? Asked Willie.
Yes,
Continued Bubblina.
you see, just any mermaid you know. I'm Bubblina, the princess of Atlantis. So rather than keep me here in this tank, why not set me free and come to my father's kingdom?
Willie thought for a moment and imagining all the possibilities of this experience. Then he noticed Bubblina looking at him extremely cute and innocent. Okay, then you got a deal, he said in full agreement. Gotta get some water. Then Willie activated the computer control to drain the water out of the tank and open it. Soon as the tank opened, Bubblina quickly made her trident appear and turned her tail into human legs. Then she changed into her hero costume from earlier and did her heroic stance. Willie was most impressed. Impressive, Bubblina, said Willie. Do you have any other abilities?
Why, yes, William, I do,
Said Bubblina as she thought to herself.
at least I hope.
Then Bubblina aimed at her trident at the shark robots guarding Star, Target, and SWORDGIRL. Nothing happened at first, but at the moment of concentration, she made it fire a stream of bubbles. And you can see Bubblina is using her magical bubble wand to stop the shark robots. And Willie is in a state of shock, seeing her powers and what she can do too. Willie looked in amaze and Bubblina sighed in dismay until her and Willie noticed the bubbles exploding on the shark robots, which caused them to fall apart. Some of the bubbles exploded on contact with the controls near the broken sharks, causing the cages and chains to open and release Star, Target, and SWORDGIRL. Once they were released, they woke up and saw Bubblina. You're the girl from before, said Star.
What do you mean from before?
Asked Bubblina.
Have we met before?
You tricked me, exclaimed Willie. How dare you? Quick, everyone, form a circle, commanded SWORDGIRL. Star, Target, Bubblina, and SWORDGIRL quickly grabbed each other's hand, formed a circle, and SWORDGIRL teleported them all back into the lake. Excuse me for yawning. I'm getting there. I'm almost done with the book. We have like 3 more chapters to go. Willie kicked a chair over in frustration. He shouted, They will not escape with my evidence. Chapter 8, A New Battle Style. Back at Atlantis, Morgana had just recovered from the poison venom from earlier. She told Aquarius about all what happened with Bubblina. Then he went to the lake through the portal and found Bubblina on the shore, Star, Target, and Sword Girl. He watched in secret. Bubblina had just cured Sword Girl from the poison. Oh, thank you, Janara. She said you are good, just keep going. Ah, thank you. I found somebody who loves me reading. I know Gabe likes me reading too. He also likes me read too. And the fun part is doing different voices as I read from different characters. Ah, my pleasure, sweetly. Okay. Thanks, said Sword Girl.
No problem.
Said Bubblina.
I seem to getting better at using my powers.
So you are really a mermaid? Asked Star.
Yep, and a bit of a superhero like you guys.
Said Bubblina. I'm gonna give Janara a double thumbs up. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Looked like King Gabe just finished eating and he said, I just finished eating. Good job, by the way. Why, thank you. Okay. We're almost there. Just two more chapters to go. And Star stated, so are you really a mermaid?
Yep, and a bit of superhero like you guys.
Said Bubblina. You're even more beautiful than the mermaids in the books, said Target dreamily.
Yeah, especially with that.
Oh, that's Star. Okay, that's Star Striker. Yeah, especially with that pink hair of yours, said Star dreamily also. There goes my headache again, said Sword Girl with a sigh. Okay, and you see in this picture, Star Striker and Target still looking at Bubblina cheerfully, and and you see Sword Girl in disgust. And I can see an animation error there. Originally, Sword Girl's supposed to have a mask on, but you could see her without a mask, so that's just an animation error. Originally, she's supposed to have a mask on, but the creator forgot to add a mask on her. Well, they all say we all make mistakes at times, and and took us and it takes a while for us to know, and it takes us a while to know what mistake we've done, and we have to fix it. But mask or not, she still look okay with or without the mask. There are some superheroes out there that doesn't have mask and they're okay with it. And Bubblina is one of them. She don't have a mask. And another example is also Wonder Woman. She doesn't have a mask, and also Sailor Moon and her Sailor Guardians. They don't have masks too. Okay, King Gabe say yeah, and fun fact now, Sword Girl no longer wears a mask. Okay, you'll see in later and later you can see in later novels you see Sword Girl without a mask. I noticed that you could see that mostly male superheroes have masks, wear masks more than female superheroes. I noticed that. Okay.
I assume since you're all superheroes, that you must all have secret identities.
Said Bubblina. What superhero wouldn't? Said Star, holding Bubblina's hand. As a hero, my name is Star Striker because I strike like a star. However, as a mild-mannered kid, you can call me Samuel E. Princeton. Then he kissed Bubblina's hand and making her blush a bit. Then Target knocked Star aside, held Bubblina's hand, and said, I'm Brian Robinson in my mild-mannered state, but when it's hero time, I'm Target because I'm right on target. Bubblina giggled at Star's and Target's gestures. Then she looked at Sword Girl and asked,
What about your friend there with all those swords and daggers?
Sword Girl, said Sword Girl. Everyone paused, waiting for her to reveal her secret identity. Aw, come on, said Target. Don't be like that, Julie. Oops.
Julie? Isn't Juliet looking for Romeo out there earlier?
asked Bubblina. Star and Target looked at each other, confused. Then at Sword Girl, who muttered herself, saying, Oh, great. Bubblina looked in shock to say,
As much as I read about Romeo and Juliet, I never would have expected Juliet to be a magical warrior. However, you could use a different costume.
then bubbling away for magical trident, then bubbling away for trident, making Sword Girl's costume pink.
Ta-da!
Said Bubblina. And this is this is the costume that Bubblina poofed to Sword Girl. And let's just say, looks like by the way Sword Girl reacted, she doesn't like it. Wow. Even though she's tomboyish. She's not a fan of pink. Not only that, she doesn't wear dresses too much either. Unless it's a special occasion. Star and Target snickered as Sword Girl looked at her costume, feeling tickled at the color choice. She glared at Bubblina.
Is something wrong?
Asked Bubblina nervously.
I thought it would make you pretty.
Sword Girl sighed and said, Pink is just not my color. I'm just not a big fan of pink, and I will tell you more about it, but it's a long story. I also added that part too. Oh, honey. Oh, honey, there you are so neat at reading. Okay. Look like Janera still loves my reading so far. Okay. We still have 2 more chapters to go,
Well, how about this?
said Bubblina, waving her trident again.
This time,
This time, Sword Girl's costume became burgundy and goldenrod.
is that better?
And here's Sword Girl's new costume. Ta-da! Burgundy and goldenrod. Now that costume suits her perfectly. And I can tell she's happy at it. She's happy with it now. Sword Girl looked at her costume and thought for a moment. Then she said, I suppose I could adapt to this one. Bubbling a jump for joy and excitement, and exclaimed.
Excellent.
After that, she turns to Star Striker and Target said,
Of course, I won't let you two be left out of the fun. Your costumes look good and tough, but a little more color couldn't hurt you, you know.
Then she waved her trident again, making Star's costume blue with light blue stripes, mask, cape, and yellow stars, and Target's costume green and light green with red Target symbols. Look like King Gabe say, Indeed. Indeed. Okay. And you can see Star Striker and Target in their new costumes. And they like him too. Indeed. Star and Target looked at their costumes and each other, and at the same time, both said, "Cool!" They can't argue about that. Chapter 9, A Shore Power. Suddenly, the giant shark robot approached from the lake with Willie riding on his head. Willie called out to Star, Target, and SWORDGIRL, "Surrender that mermaid to me at once or else." Everyone looked at Willie as the shark robot stopped at the shore and he jumped off.
I refuse to go back with you, Willie, just to help you prove yourself to others,
said Bubbling politely and firmly.
The Atlantis, like myself, are people just like you, and they would not be appreciate being put in tanks or cages like wild animals and evil beasts such as those sharks you control.
She's right, said SWORDGIRL. And as long as we're here, you're going to have to go through us first. And that's not going to be easy, said Star. So what's it going to be? Either you walk away quietly or we'll bring you down hard, said Target. King Gabe said. That costume change was because it was getting difficult dealing with the black colored pencils. Okay, what he stated is true. He he was coloring with a whole lot of black at one point when he did illustrate the Heroes of Dream series using a whole lot of black. So he switched it to color just to save on black colored pencils, which is understandable because it is better with more color than all black and whites. I did like the direction it went. It did go to. I liked the direction it was going. Okay. I won't go down, say Willie. You will go down. These sharks will sink you deep into the lake, where you won't be coming out. Then Willie jumped inside the shark robot, and in seconds it became a man shark robot on two legs, fully armed and ready. And you could see Willie standing on top of the shark robot, and the shark robot become this man robot, this man shark robot. Now it reminds me of one of the Power Rangers Mega Swords, but evil, but using it for evil instead of good, mixed with a Decepticon transform. Star, Target, SWORDGIRL, and Bubbling went into battle with the man shark robots. The battle was tough, but they didn't give up, and Aquarius observed it closely. Bubbling tried to fire the explosive bubbles like she did at Willie's lab, but nothing happened, which was left for her at a disadvantage. Eventually, Bubblina managed to form a bubble force field around her, Star, Target, and SWORDGIRL in the nick of time. Then she released a field toward the man shark, knocking it into the lake. I look like I see 4 people in my life so far, and I'm more than an hour in. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please feel free to like. I'm open for more likes. Then Star got an idea and say, Target, fire your capture rings to give it a shock. The wire should conduct its electricity. Good idea, said Target. Then Target fired his target capture rings at the man shark, but the electricity didn't affect it. Wooly laughed evilly as his man shark stood up. Then he said, as a kid genius, don't you think I wouldn't know to make my robots of the sea electric proof. Willie laughed again, having his man shark break the ring apart. Janara said, "You are loved and appreciated, honey. I love your life." Oh, thank you. She still appreciates Janara still appreciates me no matter what. Okay. Oof. Sorry about that. There was a bug near me. Pardon me. There was a bug unexpectedly near me. I don't know what it was. So hopefully it's gone. I don't like bugs flying near my ear. And I admit I'm not a big fan of wasps, mosquitoes, yellow jackets, and bees. I'm okay with the bees that produce our honey, but I don't want to be near them since they sting people. And I'm afraid of them. So, okay. Back to the story. Then he said, "Shocking, isn't it?" Suddenly, the man shark fired the electricity from the rings at Star and Target, knocking both of them onto the ground. "Time to tear your little toy apart," said Sword Girl. Her eyes glowed goldenrod as she made the arm of the man shark break off with her psychic powers. "Bad move, little girl," said Willie. He pressed a button, making the broken arm explode in front of Sword Girl. The force sent her flying into the lake.
Sword Girl!
Shouted Bubblina. She started to run to Sword Girl's aid, but Willie made the man shark block her. "Time to catch you once and for all," said Willie. The man shark raised the arm that was still attached and fired an electric eel net at Bubblina. "I tried to capture you nicely, but now you force me to be mean. Well, now it's too late. You will give me the respect I deserve and much more, and there's nothing you can do about it." Willie laughed evilly until a dagger flew past him toward the net, cutting it open and freeing Bubblina. Willie jumped, saying, "Hey, what's going on here?" "Bubblina, listen to me," said a voice in her head.
Huh? Who are you?
Asked Bubblina in thought. The voice, the voice spoke again in her head, saying, "It's Sword Girl. Now listen. You can defeat Willie's robot if you can concentrate your powers just like I do with mine." Then Sword Girl levitated up out of the lake with a psychic barrier around her to call out to Willie.
Hey, Shark Boy, I bet you can't capture me.
Willie turned around to face Sword Girl and said, "You dare to challenge me, little girl?" "Don't you ever call me a little girl," said Sword Girl. Suddenly, a barrage of star and target capture rings, along with a couple of nets, ropes tied up to the man shark, keep him from moving around. Bubbling and looked and saw Star and Target on their feet. "Now's your chance, Bubblina," said Star. "You can do it," said Target. Bubblina then faced the man shark, aimed her trident at it, and concentrated deeply. Suddenly, in a moment of suspense, Bubblina caused her trident to fire a giant bubble at the man shark, causing it to explode. Then the explosion sent Willie flying into the sky. "You may have defeated me now, but I'll be back next time," he shouted. "I'll get you next time. Next time." If Willie had a cat, the cat would go meow or meow. I'm trying to impersonate the cat that Mr. Claw had in Inspector Gadget, or
Meow.
Now I don't remember what it was, but I just tried to do my best at the meow. Or
Meow.
I think it's like that, I guess. Yeah. Chapter 10. Oh wait, I forgot about this picture. Bubblina finally stopped the man shark robot, and you could see her fierce look in her face that she meant business. Finally, the last chapter. Chapter 10. Melody Lee Smith. After Bubblina, Star, Target, and Sword Girl celebrated a victory over Willie, Aquarius approached them and said, "Very well done, young heroes." Everyone looked at Aquarius. Star, Target, and Sword Girl were shocked.
You really think so, Dad?
Asked Bubblina. "That's your dad?" exclaimed Star, Target, and Sword Girl all together. Aquarius chuckled and said, "Of course, so my little bubbles. Thanks to your new friend's help, you are able to master your power. And this is the best birthday gift I could ever receive, thanks to all of you." Bubblina's eyes filled with tears of joy as she embraced Aquarius.
Thank you, Daddy.
She said, after a moment of joyful tears, she turned to Sword Girl, Star, and Target and said,
Everyone, this is my dad, King Aquarius of Atlantis.
Everyone gasped as Aquarius walked up to them. They introduced themselves as they shook hands with him. Then Lee, Lisa, Derek, Deborah, and Kurt arrived in their cars and met up with everyone as well. After that, they all gathered at the BTB agency trailer in their control room where Aquarius agreed to work with them and allow Bubbling to become part of the team with Star, Target, and Sorghum. Since the team has secret identities, Bubbling decided to create herself one. So, after changing into some regular clothes, she changed her hair color to dark brown and her eye color to pink. And in this form, she called herself Melody Lee Smith. After this, everyone then went to the Aquarius birthday party to celebrate. Also, during the celebration, Julie realized that even though she doesn't have her parents, she still has people who care about her, which was enough to be a family for her in her heart. And you can see this is Bubblina's alter ego, Melody Lee Smith, with the pigtails as well as pink eyes, just being normal. And here is the group photo of them at the fall festival. And look like Julie is very happy that despite despite her not having a real not having a biological family, Star, Target, as well as the others, they think of her as family by heart, in hearts, if you know what I mean. Like they all say, there are people out there who don't have any parents or families, but they still have other people who are always with them. Oh, Janara say that is cute artwork. Well, mainly King Dave did most of the artwork and this book as well as his entire Heroes of Dreams book series. You could give him credit for that. I would. As I was saying, there are a lot of people out there who don't have any parents or relatives who are really close to them, but they also have they do have friends who are closer to them and consider them as family at heart. Not only that, but don't forget the Lord himself. He is always there 24/7 when you're alone. The Lord will always be with you 24/7. Okay, King Gabe say, I appreciate it. Okay. So that was volume number 4 of Heroes of Dreams Discovery Within the Bubbles. Woo. Almost getting close to an hour and a half so far. I admit it was a bit tiring doing all the different voices, but I made it and I didn't wear myself out too much. But I did give you a show. And I know there's other issues of Heroes of Dreams that Gabe is going to read in upcoming lives in the future. And it's a possibility you might see me again reading another Heroes of Dreams issue in the upcoming lives in the future. But I cannot tell you which ones they are. But you hear them soon. But you'll hear them soon enough. So that's all I have for now. So if you like what you hear and if you missed parts of my life or the entire life in general, feel free to watch the replay anytime you want. It's always there, as well as Gabriel's other lives at your own time. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to our Miracle Production channel, as well as support us on Patreon. We have 3 loyal Patreon pledgers so far. The number 1, EJS, Big Sis Case, Iceman Universe. And also feel free to follow me on my Facebook page under Christina Lee Johnson, as well as my Instagram page, still under Christina Lee Johnson. It still hasn't changed. So I forgot to mention, a few years later, I took over Bubblina and changed Bubblina's alter ego name, well, actually her human form name, from Melody Lee Smith to Melissa Doris Robinson, and made her into a middle school student instead of an elementary school student. And in my new Bubblina series, she just have a biological mom, and she's adopted by her Earth parents. Well, not Earth parents. Well, actually, human parents, which is Jonathan and Carolyn Robinson. It's a possibility I might reread my comic book series 1 through 5 in a future live. So this is all I have for right now, and I really hope you enjoy this live. And I hope I see you all later. Bye, everyone.